No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy game day to you. Boise State basketball, big one tonight against Colorado State, and we are excited to talk about it, break it down here on Bronco Nation News Live for the next 35 minutes with Jay Tust, and then Niko Medved going to join me around 9:30. Looking forward to that, catching up with Coach Medved ahead of the game tonight against Colorado State. It's a cold, snowy, was doing little donuts, taking the kids to the bus this morning, Jay, but doesn't really seem like basketball weather, but I guess it's a good day to hopefully get inside ExtraMile Arena and warm up, and should be a fun game tonight.
You were out doing donuts, taking the kids to the bus stop?
When you turn, you just kind of, I guess it wouldn't be a full donut, but the back wheels come out a little bit,
Okay.
Just a little bit.
With you, man. Yeah. I just got done dropping the kiddo off at school too. Yeah, it took a little.
First day back at school. First day back at school, by the way, in like 3 weeks. So it was a little rougher morning getting the kids up and going.
Yeah, I feel you on that one now, man. But she's gone, and now the house is just a little quieter than it's been the last few weeks.
You know what? I love my kids, but it is yesterday doing the show and having my kids around, and yeah, it is. I know the feeling. Working from home for the most part, I know the feeling. But excited to be back at it tonight. Was reading one of those mornings, Jay, where you just couldn't sleep, and it was 5:10, and I just finally said, why waste my time? Got up and got to work, and did a nice thorough read of Nate Lowry's game notes. Kudos to Nate Lowry and the staff over there for the game notes. Some interesting notes, which I'm sure you've done in terms of your prep work, getting ready for the game. You and Nick Duncan tonight, by the way, on the call, Mountain West Network, and I believe did KTVB pick it up? What do we got here?
The mothership it's not going to be on actual channel 7, but it will be streaming KTVB.com, KTVB Plus, as well as Idaho's very own 24/7. The timing of it was a little difficult for us to figure out. 7 o'clock is right in our prime time window. So.
All right, then we found our first mistake in Nate Lowry's game notes. I apologize for that. It said KTVB. So
broadcast by KTVB, I guess you could say, but it actually is going to be on a main station in Denver today too. So
saw that.
Yeah, we were able to kind of work that out, and shout out to Mike Walsh and Jessica Hagan and everybody that made that happen. So the game's gonna have a little greater reach now, which it's deserving of.
It's going to be awesome for you, man. Excited that this big game. And again, I don't know if it was just the TV partners missed on Colorado State and missed on Utah State or what, but the Utah State Colorado State game the other night, we were all watching that together on Mountain West Network there at the James. And now here it is, Mountain West Network again tonight. But the benefit of that is that you get to be on the call, and KTVB gets to have it. And I know it's a nice situation for you and Nick Duncan, and one of the premier games in college basketball tonight. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. On one hand, I want to say, the Mountain West missed out on a big time opportunity, really big time opportunities to have a top 25 Colorado State team playing at Utah State and at Boise State in back-to-back games, and neither of those on national television is tough. But I will also tell you that I'm glad that we were able to seize the moment, seize the opportunity, and pick that game up and benefit from it ourselves. So it's by no means it's not us keeping it off of the national airwaves. By the way, this is something that was decided months ago, and we got the
Blame Jay. I think that's the easiest way to do it.
That's fine too.
By the way, Jay, we have always broadcast on Facebook, on Twitter. Speaking of digital streaming and broadcasts, we've been on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, but today, for the first time, we're also broadcasting on the Bronco Nation News Instagram account. They have recently added live streaming through this platform that we use, connecting to Instagram. And so we are hoping to build the Instagram page as well. So hopefully you follow Bronco Nation News on Instagram. If you're one of the folks watching on Instagram, we appreciate you. And we'll be hopefully giving you these live broadcasts 9 a.m. weekdays, and then also pre and post game shows as well. But expanding our reach at BNN with the live shows now that we are on our Instagram channel, which last time I checked had about 7,500 followers, subscribers. I'm not sure what Instagram was it likers? I don't know what you call it on Instagram.
Followers.
Okay, so we got about 7,500 followers on the
likers.
I don't. For someone that runs a social media digital company, I know very little about digital in social media. So so 7,500. We call them followers. On Instagram, and we appreciate all you guys adding to our reach here. So make sure you follow us on Instagram. We're going to continue to try to build that as well. And one quick plug before I forget, we are giving away, Jay, on Friday, this chair. I know this would look good in Jay's office there. The Cutwater Spirits, we thank them for giving us this chair to give away. We'll be giving it away on Friday as part of our weekly subscriber giveaways. So make sure you're a yearly subscriber. BNN 50 deals that promo code. Jump in, get a full year of coverage from Mike Prater, myself, and all of our access. And we're giving away some cool stuff on Friday, including some actual Cutwater margaritas, some Cutwater espresso martinis, and the chance to win this chair. So that'll be on Friday, and make sure you subscribe and don't miss out on that. All right, Jay, I do want to talk Malachi Nelson and football down the road. I mentioned that Niko Medved, the Colorado State coach, is going to join me as well. But we got to start with the game tonight and ExtraMile Arena. Less than 1,500 tickets remaining as of yesterday. I went on and looked this morning. It looks like less than that. Sell this thing out. If you're on the fence about going, $20 for a ticket, like what do you my wife and kids on a school night are going down. They're sitting way up top. They don't care. It's going to be a fun atmosphere, a fun environment tonight. And there are some tickets available, but I think it's probably around 1,000 or less than that based on my rough estimate of how many little blue circles I could see on the map. But going to be one of the largest crowds, probably the largest crowd at this point to the season. Hopefully a sellout if they can get there in the next 10 hours or whatever it is. But you know, we've both been covering this program for a long time, Jay, and when you get a big-time opponent to come in, a big-time crowd, those are just fun, special nights in ExtraMile Arena, and I think we all think of the San Diego State game last year being the most recent one, but certainly has a chance for that again tonight. Hold on. Where's my oh, I didn't have it ready.
I'm going to have a drop for when you do this.
Okay, you might be on mute.
Yeah. I'm going to have a drop for when you do that. I'm going to talk with Karen. Anywho, I think we saw that when Colorado State traveled down to Logan last week, that the home court made it a difference there, man. Like, that's the one thing we talked about even last week, BJ, is like not only is the Mountain West Conference good, but there are a lot of places that it's really hard to win on the road. You definitely like to think Boise's one of those places, but outside of that, you know, you go to the Pit, you go to San Diego State, obviously Utah State, Colorado State, Moby Arena is a great road environment where the fans are like right on top of the court.
Yeah.
So this is one of those games where you need to win it. You have to defend home court this year in the Mountain West Conference. Like if you want to win the league, you need to defend your home court because the road is going to be extremely difficult this year, right? So this is it's so silly to call it a must-win game. Kind of a must-win game though for the Boise State men's basketball team.
Yeah, and a couple of guys actually said that yesterday because, you know, the home games, when you're trying to protect the home court, Jay, as you just said, and I was like making sure all my flights were – I was looking this morning actually, I was trying to make sure that 2 months ago when I booked all the flights for the road games that I had them all booked, and I was just kind of double-checking dates and figuring out my calendar of when I leave and come back for some of these games, and I looked at there's one stretch where they have like 3 straight road games where they go to like Utah State, New Mexico, Colorado State, or something where it's just like, man, like, I mean, there are some rough stretches, particularly in the road games. I think there was one home game mixed in, but 3 out of 4 games, and there are 3 straight road games that they had where I think Utah State, New Mexico, and Colorado State in some order. And, I mean, you look at the schedule, yeah, there's no gimmies, and that's why the home games are so imperative because as we talked about, you got to go probably 8-0 against the bottom feeders and 5-5 against the top teams. So every home game you drop against one of the top teams is a road game. You have to go in against one of the top teams. And so, I mean, you lose tonight, all of a sudden you got to go to Reno and you're looking at 1-2 in conference with San Diego State coming up next week and a UNLV team that I think is better than some people think now. They got some transfers eligible. So, tonight is imperative. And I also think, Jay, it's imperative just because you need that marquee win. And I know you're going to have a lot of chances to get it, but everyone, you know, yeah, you don't have the bad loss and everything, but you're on, you know, at best, you're quote on the bubble. A lot of people don't even have them quite on the bubble yet. You're still 70th at the net. I mean, you're in the 60s at KenPom. Like, you got to start making a move here, and you got to win some of these games. And so I think this is a prime opportunity at home against a number 17 ranked team, which, by the way, Jay, this would be in terms of the AP rankings, and I'm sure you know this, but I put it on Twitter last night. In terms of the AP rankings, this would be the 3rd best win all time. All time, Boise State basketball, they've only twice won a game against higher ranked teams. And you can say, okay, is Colorado State as good as whatever? But Creighton was number 11 in 2013 and their 2012-2013 season. And then you have to go back to 1998. The Washington Huskies were ranked 15th. They only have 2 top 15 AP wins in program history. A win tonight, believe it or not, against Colorado State would be the 3rd best win in program history. They've only won like 6 or 7 against the AP top 25 in their history. So a lot on the line tonight. And yeah, if you have aspirations of getting to the tournament and, you know, trying to move up in some of these rankings, a win tonight is imperative.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second because Boise State actually had a victory at ExtraMile Arena last year over the 2nd ranked team in the country.
When they played them, I guess you would say.
Yeah, yes. I'm BJ. I'm right there with you. I totally understand what you're saying. But I mean, you could say that though if you wanted, right?
They beat Loyola Chicago the year they went to the Final Four. They beat them by 30. So I mean, yeah.
When all is said and done, those rankings matter. But you're exactly right. At the moment of tip-off, this would be one of the biggest victories in program history for the Boise State men's basketball team, which feels significant because they've achieved a lot of history lately. And right now, the Mountain West Conference, it looks like it's about to get its due, BJ. they got 3 teams ranked in the top 25 right now.
Yep.
San Diego State, Utah State, and Colorado State. And Nevada's kind of flirting with votes in the top 25 as well. You can imagine if Boise State picks up a couple victories, namely over Nevada and Colorado State in the next week or so, that they're going to start to get some steam, But, you do look, I don't want to look too far down the road because we got something awesome in front of our faces right now. But I think the stretch you're talking about, BJ, is on January 31st. Boise State goes to New Mexico. They come back home to host Air Force on a Saturday. But then that following week, they go to at number 17 Colorado State and at number 10, at number 20 Utah State that following week. So that is, man, that's going to be a tough road right there for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't want to fool people. I did tape the interview with Niko Medved yesterday, Jay. I don't think it should shock anybody that he's not doing a live interview on game day with the opposing team's media. But I did want to play. I'm going to play the interview the full interview later in the show. But I wanted to play one quick like 45-second snippet just as a preview of him talking about Boise State and playing in ExtraMile Arena tonight.
Terrific program. I mean, starts with Leon and his staff. They've been doing it for a long time. They've got, great players. Tyson Dagenhart's one of the best players in our league. He just, every time you pop on the film and watch him play, he's so under control, hurts you in so many different ways. Agbo can make shots from everywhere. It seems like he can throw them in from the upper deck, even when you're there. And Omar Stanley, I mean, you're coming off a 30-point game. I mean, Max, I go on and on. I mean, these guys are so well coached. They're connected. They know what they're in, and they're used to winning. And so, I'm expecting that. I think I saw their night school started back here in Boise, so I'd expect nothing less. And to me, it's what makes college basketball great. And it's part of, we go back to talking about why our league's doing so well. It's because you've got fan bases and places that care so much about college basketball. And, we'll play sold out. It'll be close to sold out there. It's going to be that way in the pit. It's going to be that way in Viejas. And you know what, BJ, when you guys come back to Fort Collins, it'll be sold out at our place too, more than likely. And so that's what you got to love as a competitor, and it's what you work towards. And so it's going to be a tremendous challenge for our team, but we're looking forward to it. If you want to compete in the league, you got to find a way to go give yourself a chance in these kind of environments.
There he is, Niko Medved. Great dude, by the way. One of my favorite coaches in the Mountain West. Awesome guy, and always not afraid to turn down an interview. But I don't know if you heard or not, Jay, what happened with them. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I was talking to them, and they had decided, rightfully so, to come straight from Logan to Boise after the game. They played in Logan on Saturday night. They're playing on Tuesday in Boise. I don't think they're in school yet, so they said, we'll just stay on the road. But they didn't realize that it's only a 4-hour bus ride from Logan to Boise. So they actually bused to Salt Lake City and then flew from Salt Lake City to Boise. But they had flight delays at the Salt Lake City airport. And what could have been a 4-hour bus ride ended up being like a 7, 8, 9, 10-hour travel day sitting in the Salt Lake airport while they're delayed. So I don't know if anyone's looking for a job on the Colorado State staff now, or all jokes aside, but he told me they didn't realize it was only a 4-hour bus ride. They thought it was further from Logan to Boise, and so they went back and flew, and then had some delays, and so they got here Sunday evening, Sunday night, but it took a lot longer than they expected it to, but they were able to practice in Boise yesterday, and obviously that won't be a factor in the game, but I just thought it was a little interesting that they made it to Boise, but I didn't realize that they could have just drove.
That is hilarious, man. It is a pretty short drive, but
if you use that on the broadcast tonight, you better credit Bronco Nation News.
What's that?
Yeah. I will take full credit for that, and I better if that nugget gets used, I better hear Bronco Nation News getting a shout out.
Okay, sounds good, buddy.
Rich Waltz can do it on the CBS Sports Network broadcast. We can throw a couple in on the Mountain West Network. Come on.
Yeah, that's because you have them on your broadcast though, and you bug them all the time.
You know what? I was actually proud. I was actually proud of myself. Dan Dickow was doing the color for the game the other night in San Jose, and I did not. I think it was the first time that he's done a game. I did not ask him to come on the pregame show. Usually, when Dan's doing a game, I'm like, "Oh, I'll get him to come on for 5-10 minutes." I actually didn't know he was doing the game, but I got to the arena and I didn't even have time probably to go ask him at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
But he came on the Washington State game, and he actually, I think, enjoys coming on talking about Leon and Tyson, and he does a great job when he's on the color. But I usually try to steal him for a couple of minutes, and But I did not do it for the San Jose game. So now I think the next time he's on, I can go ahead.
He seemed like he was a little more pep. Like he seemed a little more excited about that game.
Yeah, you didn't get worn out on some pregame show before the game.
No,
I hadn't thought about that, but when I rewatched the game, particularly in the first half, he did seem like he had a lot of energy. So that is true. But Colorado State, this game tonight, Jay, I need to take a break, but we'll go one more thing here on Colorado State. Just Isaiah Stevens, man. We heard Leon talk about him yesterday, and I know you were doing the stats, but I was looking at it too. 17.6 points per game, 7.4 assists per game. He's the all-time leading scorer, the all-time leading assist man at Colorado State, and you dive into some of the numbers. He's shooting 46.6% from three-point range, over 53% from the field, 80% from the foul line. I mean, any way you dial it up, this guy's one of the premier players, not just in the Mountain West right now, but in college basketball. And I've heard a lot of people say that he's in the running for an All-American team right now. You obviously will have a vote with that, with the AP ranking and the AP vote. A lot of basketball left to be played, but Isaiah Stevens, one of the premier players in the country, is worth the price of admission probably by himself tonight.
Agreed. I think it probably says a lot about Niko Medved and his program that he's been able to keep Isaiah Stevens in Fort Collins for as long as he has, because Isaiah Stevens could play wherever he wants in the country. He is a phenomenal athlete. And a lot of the times, when we talk about Boise State's point guard situation, we talk about flow, we talk about tempo, and he is a guy that you just can't rattle. Like it seems impossible to speed him up or make him uncomfortable or do anything he doesn't want to do. Right. I think, a potential key for tonight's game though, is actually having Isaiah Stevens shoot the basketball. And what I mean by that is, and this is definitely one of those predictions that could come back to burn you there.
You're wanting that, or you're not wanting that?
I actually want it.
You're wanting a guy shooting 46.6% from three-point range, 53% from the field, 81% from the foul line, and is averaging over 17.6 points per game to shoot.
Yep.
You rooting for Colorado State tonight, or what? Give us your reasoning.
If you look at Colorado State's season, when Isaiah Stevens attempts 16 or more shots, they are 1-2. Meaning when he attempts 15 or less, they are a perfect 12-0. And what I think that means, BJ, is Colorado State is so good offensively, man. If you can defend, the first 20 to 23 seconds of the shot clock, and all of a sudden it gets down to now they have to put it in Isaiah's hands and let him try to create. Again, he is really, really good at doing that. But I think it gets them out of the rhythm and flow of what they want to really do as an offense, right? You look at their assist numbers, they're averaging over 20 assists as a team per game. I mean, that's insane. Yep. Almost as insane as the fact they're shooting 53% as a team, which going into last game, they were number 1 in the country. They surrendered that. Now they're just number 2. But I just think that if you can get Isaiah's shot volume up, it likely means that Boise State is doing a really good job at defending that first 20 to 25 seconds of the shot clock. And now all of a sudden you're kind of pushing them into an area on offense that they might, Isaiah's still good at it, but it's not necessarily what they actually might want to do on offense. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, totally doubt. What else does Boise State need to do to get the win tonight? We will talk about that in 90 seconds. Don't go anywhere here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, back here live on Bronco Nation News. We got some comments. We'll take your comments in the ICCU YouTube chat. Jesse said, someone said, stop trying to make basketball happen. It's not a thing. And then Jesse said, I think BJ's plan was to get the basketball in first before the football to keep most audience members the entire show. Partially, but also I think a game against the number 17 ranked team in the country should be the lead story over news that's been official for a day or two. Maybe I'm wrong on that, Jay, but we'll get to the football talk in a few minutes. But finishing up this basketball game tonight, again, you're going to hear Jay Tust and Nick Duncan on the call, all the various online platforms with KTVB+, KTVB.com, and as well as the Mountain West Network. But Jay, from the Boise State perspective, we saw Omar Stanley go get 30. We've seen some positive things. Point guard play still developing, I guess you could say. They were, I don't want to say lucky to win that game because they played very well the last 5-6 minutes, but that game was not looking good for a good majority of the game down there in San Jose. Just where are you overall, I guess, on Boise State, the Boise State side coming into this game?
We were sold that Boise State would be deeper this year. And I really do think that the San Jose State game, I'm gonna chalk it up to just the flow of the game made it very difficult for Boise State to use their depth the way they want to, right? I do think they have more depth, but they have to have it show up, man. Last time Boise State was at home against a much lesser opponent in Utah Valley, Leon Rice, he got Cam Martin and some of the guys off the bench into the game really, really early in that game. I'm wondering if he'll try to do that again just to try to get those guys into the flow and the rhythm of the game tonight against Colorado State. But against San Jose State, he waited a little bit, getting down with what Amy was doing, trailing at 7 at halftime. BJ, we've known this. Leon Rice, he's going to ride his horses in Mountain West Conference play. And ultimately, the way that game went against San Jose State, that's just kind of what he had to do down the stretch. But the Big Four, as good as they are, it would be really nice to have some punch from somewhere else that will benefit this team.
And we said this, though. And by the way, KTIK had Max Rice in studio yesterday, and he made some interesting comments about Cam Martin. I'll just read the quick quote that I pulled. His shoulder, it's been bugging him, so we're trying to get him right, but he's a great dude. We love having him around, and he stretches the floor, and he'll be good. He'll be good. So it sounds like there's something behind the scenes going on with Cam Martin's shoulder. This was after Leon Rice had talked yesterday, so we didn't get a chance to ask him about it. But you may know more on this, Jay, but I don't know if that's contributing to him playing in the second half. I will say this, take it for what it's worth, good or negative. But when I rewatched the San Jose State game the other day, Jay, in the second half with about 90 seconds to go, there was a huge putback for Omar Stanley that pretty much sealed the game. And if you look at the bench, every single player on the bench stands up and cheers except Cam Martin. And he just sat there and kind of did a little smaller cheer. And so not to say that, I'm just saying take it for what it's worth, but he didn't play a second in the second half. And again, whether he's unhappy with that, whether, who knows what he thought his role was going to be. Now he's coming off the bench, not starting. And I just, take it for what it's worth. But when I watch the energy and the excitement of every single player, walk-on or scholarship player on the bench go crazy after that basket, standing up. And there was one player sitting, and I said, who is that? And I rewound it back, and it was Cam Martin just sitting there. So I don't know if he's unhappy. I don't know if it's the shoulder injuries limiting his ability to play, if he's trying to push through and now he's unhappy. So he's saying, let's get the shoulder. I have no idea. We'll see if he's limited, if he plays, if that's even a story. But Max Trice, the first we've heard about it, coming out and saying it sounds like there is something wrong with Cam Martin's shoulder. So that's something to keep an eye on, I guess.
Yeah, that is something to keep an eye on. And to elaborate on that just a little bit, probably plan on touching on it in the broadcast tonight, BJ, but that is my understanding. And Cam Martin, it's funny because you see some of the criticism maybe about his game on social media, which I never like to feed, but in this case I will explain a little bit. He was an elite scorer at the Division II level. He was an elite shooter at the Division II level, and he hasn't necessarily been that here. Why? Well, he does have a little bit of a shoulder injury going on. You'll notice when Cam shoots threes, BJ, or probably any really jumpers for that matter, he almost has like a little hitch in his release now, and that's more than coincidental.
Also shoots the ball kind of like side. It's kind of, yeah,
but it hasn't always been like that from what I was told. And as he's dealing with some of that stuff right now, it's making him a different player, and it's forcing him into maybe a different role than what he did envision when he came to Boise State. And so there's some adjusting going on there right now, man. And I truly believe when they brought him here, I think that they thought that he would be the starter and that Omar would be the guy off the bench. But Omar is developing at an incredibly rapid pace.
Yep.
And Cam's dealing with some stuff right now. I do think that Cam's overall knowledge of the game will allow him to adapt and come off the bench. But it probably is a little humbling at the same time, being a 7th-year senior with 2,000 plus career points to your name. That's an adjustment period that he's just gonna have to go through and he's gonna have to figure out. But I got to say this about Omar, man. Chandler Hutchison had some dominant runs his final year as a Bronco.
I knew you'd have a stat for the 320-point games here or something with Omar.
Well, Derek Marks could get super hot. It's funny, BJ. I can throw a stat at you that would suggest how dominant he's been, but in this case, I'm actually just going to go run with the eye test here. I don't know if I've seen a Bronco be as dominant. He's the best player on the floor right now, and I against San Jose State.
Yeah,
I don't even think you could friggin' question it. Like it was like so far above and beyond. Like Omar was the best player on the floor in that game.
Yep,
and
he's doing it in different ways. He's posting guys up. He's got this little runner now that he's banking off the glass. I'm not a huge fan of him shooting the 3-point shot, but just based on who else they have, and but he can occasionally knock down a three, and he's not afraid to shoot that as well. And a lot of their offense in that,
he has some versatility, man. Like he can catch it at the top of the key, put it on the deck, and blow by you. And
they had nothing going for him in that San Jose game, and it was literally just get the ball to Omar, and like him and Amy were just going back and forth, and they would have had no chance of winning that game if he didn't hit a couple of the shots, particularly in the first half that he did.
I agree, and he is he's a special player. I would love to actually know what Leon's buddies are telling him right now, because I would assume it's something along the lines of, how the hell did you get that guy?
Yeah.
I said it on Twitter last week. The fact that St. John's missed on this guy is unbelievable. Now,
yeah, you look at that's a fun exercise that I saw on Twitter, and I should go back and do it again. But if you see all the places that their players transferred to, like I saw Jeff Goodman or somebody saying like, why were they terrible last year? Like they had like 7 or 8 guys transfer out, and like a lot of them are like doing really good at other schools. And they didn't even list Omar Stanley because it was before he kind of went on this tear. There was 5 or 6 other guys that like they noted went elsewhere from St. John's and are just absolutely killing it. And it makes you wonder how they weren't any good last year.
Yeah, well, they even have guys that stayed at St. John's that are like balling right now. So yeah, that's interesting, man. And I know that St. John's has a really good player that plays a similar position to Omar, that it would probably be hard for Omar to earn the minutes that he's currently getting at Boise State at St. John's. I get that, but still, man, it's worth figuring it out, because Omar Stanley is an impeccable talent, and he's a guy that is changing the game for Boise State. If they can figure out this point guard spot, man, they're going to be a really, really dangerous team. But tonight is going to be one of those nights where this is the test. This is It's time to see if Roddy Anderson and Jace Whiting are ready to go. And, one thing I will say is that, Roddy was scoreless. Boise State hasn't had a point from their point guard position since the 5:57 mark of the first half against Washington State on December 21st. It's been a moment, man. Roddy did do some things, nice things defensively in the second half of the San Jose State game, but they do need those guys to continue to come along and be confident in what they do.
I really liked Boise State tonight until I just started thinking of that point guard matchup. I just it gave me a little nervous feeling thinking about those two guys going. And I will say this though, like it's not all about the points. Like, and I know you know this, but like I think they'd be perfectly happy if those guys didn't score a point, if they didn't have 6 turnovers, and if they ran the offense and found guys. Like, I think the 0 points is culminated with the 6 turnovers and Jace Whiting driving into a 7-footer that already has 4 blocks and putting up a shot that literally has no chance to go in. I mean, it's not necessarily we don't necessarily need to see them scoring for Boise State to do well, but I do think like there's other parts of their game when you add in the fact that they're not scoring and they're turning the ball over. It's okay if you're not out there to score, then at least do some other things to help out here. When you're not defending or you're turning the ball over, I mean, Roddy Anderson just seems so sped up in that San Jose game with dribble right in. He also picks his dribble up way too early sometimes for my liking at times. Just as soon as there's pressure, he picks the ball up sometimes. And so we've seen some ups, some downs, and that is a matchup tonight that probably is going to win them or lose them the game. How do those two fare? Not necessarily just in the points battle, but in the overall, just running the offense, the assists, whatever. And I'll just finish the basketball discussion, Jay, by saying this. I said it. I'm pretty sure you said it as well. I don't think anybody should really be surprised that the bench isn't playing much. I mean, that's just not Leon Rice's thing. It's not what he does. He trusts the guys that he believes, and you can argue, and some guy did on Twitter, like, why is Max Rice playing 38 minutes? But again, when you're in crunch time and you're in a game that you're losing and you need to win, nothing against Kobe Young or RJ Keene or some of these guys, but you're going to trust your 6th-year senior that's been there and done that. And so I'm not super surprised that when push comes to shove here in these big conference games, he's riding the starters.
Yeah. And by the way, Max Rice over the last 6 games, he's averaging 17.3 points. He's shooting 48.9% from 3. He's averaging 4 rebounds, almost 3 assists a game. When he makes at least 3 threes in a game, Boise State has won 83.3% of their games, including their 4-0 this season. He's such a key part to their success. I think the thing that I would say about him, Tyson Dagenhart, even Buzo, Stanley is the new guy, so he's definitely getting a lot of attention. But those other guys, don't get bored with greatness. I mean, maybe greatness is a little too far, but don't get bored with success, man. Like, don't get bored with consistency. Tyson Dagenhart, Max Rice, Chibuzo Abo, these are guys that have done it at a high level for a long time. And just because Max puts up 12, 7, and 4 against San Jose State now, if he does that last year or a year ago, that's a phenomenal stat line. And now it almost seems like it's like, why didn't he score a little more? 12, 7, and 4. I think anybody's taking that stat line in college basketball, right?
Yep.
So don't get bored with success or consistency. Those guys have been really darn good, and don't make it to this point in time next year. I mean, it's almost like Marcus Shaver Jr., right? Shave had his struggles last year. He was injured, went through a shooting slump and all that stuff. And a lot of people, probably myself included, man, kind of honed in on that. And now all of a sudden he's gone, and you're like, man, do the Broncos miss that guy?
Oh, yeah.
But don't put yourself in that position with a guy like Max Rice by not appreciating what he's doing now.
And if his dad wasn't the coach, I don't think the criticism would be nearly as high.
Probably not, but I mean, I'm sorry. I really don't see somebody stepping into the starting lineup right now and doing what Max does.
No doubt. Like I said, in the last 5-6 minutes,
I really firmly believe that.
In the last 5-6 minutes of that game, did you want Max Rice out there or RJ Keene or Kobe Young? And I like RJ Keene a lot. I like Kobe Young. It's nothing personal to them, but you're going to take your 6th-year senior over a guy who's averaging 5-6 minutes a game pretty much anytime.
Yeah, and even that, man, like, it's just the way the game unfolds for Max. Like, it just seems like at times it's moving at a snail's pace, and that's a compliment because he is just so his instincts are great. He's still knowledgeable of the game. He has great awareness, and there was a point in time in that game where I can't remember the exact score, if it was a tie game or if Boise State was slightly down, but Tyson Degenhart hit a wide open three.
Yeah, Max had open 3-2 and passed it off to him.
He passed it off to him, and it was just like Max's shot would have been good. Tyson's shot by passing it off to him was the best shot available because he was wide open.
He also had a great pass late in the second half to a streaking Degenhart for a layup, I think, too. Okay. At one point, he had a couple. He had 4 assists, so he had multiple ones. But there was one where they really needed a bucket, and Tyson was streaking, and he was on the wing, and he found him and had a layup. And all right, final thing, basketball, Jay. Just the game tonight. You were calling must win. We're calling whatever. Just it's going to be a big crowd again. If there are some tickets available, $20 if you want to go to the game. I highly recommend it. The weather is not supposed to be terrible later today. The snow will kind of clear out here. I think it's going to melt, hopefully. But just your final thoughts on this matchup and the importance of it, man. It's a big one for Boise State, as we've talked about.
They need it to start to build their resume. I didn't check today, BJ, but as of a day or two ago, Boise State actually did get credited with a quad 1 win because St. Mary's is moving up in the net. That was a neutral court game. St. Mary's was at number 50, so Boise State technically does have that quad 1 win.
They're still number 50, by the way.
Okay, well, there you go. So Boise State does have a quad 1 win. But as the Broncos look to start to position themselves not only for the NCAA tournament, not only in the net rankings, this is the one that they need in order to contend for a Mountain West Conference championship. And so big game tonight. I would assume if they can go get this one, quad 1 win, they would make a big jump in the net rankings. They would get a much needed victory or an important victory in the Mountain West tournament eventually here, but Mountain West Conference race. And got to defend the home court, man. It is of the utmost importance this year in the Mountain West Conference. And you feel a little less pressure to go down to Reno and win against a really good Nevada team, coming up this weekend.
What's up, Abe? Abe Jackson watching, saying, what's up, fellas? Appreciate you, Abe, for watching.
Let's go, Abe.
And we'll be seeing you tonight on the pregame show. Niko Medved, Colorado State coach, coming up shortly. But, Jay, first, want to get just a quick thought on the official transfer news. Malachi Nelson, all of the other guys that are now officially committed. We're going to talk at halftime to Spencer Danielson tonight to get his thoughts on all this. But a big week or so, and what do you make of what they've done so far?
I'm not an I told you so guy, BJ. I'm not an I told you so guy. And I'm not even saying I told you so, but I just feel like, after Taylon Green transferred, there were just a number of people on Twitter that say, quit saying stuff is happening behind the scenes. We want to see it. Well, there it is. You've seen it. So it just took some patience. Like, they just weren't going to run off and make a decision and grab the best available person out of the portal at that point in time. They waited. And I say this because I said this before the bowl game, and now we can see that it's certainly the case after the bowl game. Malachi Nelson didn't even enter the transfer portal until after Boise State's bowl game. So why should they have been in a hurry to address that before the bowl game? Just because Taylon left and Taylon committed, before Boise State played in a bowl game, that didn't mean that the Broncos had to go out and address that quickly. They go and they get the highest rated recruit in program history. People want to split hairs on that, by the way, but I'm calling it that because he was the number 1 overall recruit at one point in time in the 2023 recruiting class. By most publications, he still finishes a top 15 overall recruit. And the fact that Boise State was able to get him here is nothing short of phenomenal.
By the way, hold on. Jesse says, did you see that USC receiver is visiting Boise right now? From his page, he was having a Big Judd's burger. Which receiver is that? Dorian Kent Singer? That would be something if that was the case.
That'd be something.
He had a 1,000-yard season at Arizona, transferred to USC, didn't do as much there. But if they were to get Singer, that would be a big-time pickup. But if anybody has any more info on that, let me know. But having a Big Judd's burger. He says right now, is eating a Big Judd's burger at 9:40 in the morning? Come on, get you Goldies or something for breakfast, right? You can come back there later. Or get to our sponsor, Taco Bell. They're on Broadway.
Hey, there you go.
Or Lean Peas, come on. Are you seeing that on social media anywhere? Or?
I haven't yet. I guess we'll we'll dive into that, or maybe I'll talk.
Sorry, I cut you off though, but the other guys as well. I mean, you get the quarterback, you got the other guys. I mean, it is what a difference 8 or 9 days does make.
They addressed everything they needed to address, man. Like they obviously went in and they were really aggressive on early signing day. Trying to build their younger parts of their program, their more inexperienced parts of the program. And then we talked about what they kind of needed when it came to the transfer portal. Was a quarterback. Anytime you can load up on a defensive lineman, you'll do that has experience and production. They did that. They likely needed a wide receiver, got him, and maybe a cornerback to push that competition, and they did that. So I think they hit a home run this last week, man. Like they crushed the portal in my opinion.
Unless I'm looking at this wrong, and I told you I don't know how to do Instagram. I'm on Dorian Singer's page and it's empty. It says no posts, no stories, but he somehow has 20,000 followers. So it says wide receiver 651. Maybe I'm doing this wrong, Jade. I don't know if I can see a story or what, but we'll see. Yeah, big news, and we'll talk to Spencer Danielson tonight. Are they done though? I mean, maybe they're going for another wide receiver, but any other? I mean, if you had a perfect world now and you could add one or two more, I mean, what positions would you look at?
I guess maybe you look at another wide receiver if you can add somebody with production. I'll always say, like, anytime you can add size and talent on one of the offensive or defensive line, then you take it. But yeah, we'll have to see, because I also think that they're running out of spots. Like I don't
already well over, yeah.
So there's something to that they're gonna have to figure out. Now that doesn't mean that you still recruit though. Like you still go through this process, but I think they've done a lot of the heavy lifting, and we'll dig into it and see if we can find any more on if they're still trying to add or currently add. Mm-hmm. But there's bound to be movement in the spring, BJ. Like there will be. There's going to be guys that leave, and once spring ball is settled and position battles start to become a little more clear, movement's going to happen, and you have to be prepared to address those needs and those scholarships on your team via the transfer portal as well.
Are they getting Griffey's kid?
I don't know yet, man. I don't know.
So whoever your source is on the recruiting coverage here, man, you've been all over it. So I figured you'd know by now.
I don't know about that one. I think they're being a little patient with it, but
that would be for a walk-on spot. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. That's my understanding. He played at Florida A&M, played in about 24 games, finished there with 24 tackles and a pick. Looks like he's a special teams contributor. Either way though, man, that would be awesome for Boise State. Ken Griffey Jr.'s got Nike ties. Boise State's a Nike school.
Yeah.
They're getting new uniforms next year. So, the things like that. I don't know if it helps them, hurts them, but it's not going to hurt them. So yeah.
I just don't know if I could handle you and Johnny just having Ken Griffey Jr. at the games and stuff and the practices and whatever else, particularly Johnny. I think that would be.
I would give him his space, mostly just because in my few interactions with him, I don't know if he likes people just like coming up and jumping in his grill.
And I heard a rumor when Johnny saw the picture that Ken Griffey Jr. was at the Steelheads game. He literally was about to get in his car and drive down there until his girlfriend was hilarious. I don't know, but
that's hilarious. Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say. I had a number of people texting me pictures of him at the Steelheads game with Tevin as well, and I will say he seemed cordial though. It didn't seem like he seemed like he was okay with it. So I'm sure he gets it everywhere he goes.
More photos with his dad than him when he's the recruit on the visit. I mean,
probably.
All right, Jay. Appreciate your time, man. We'll let you rest your pipes a little for the game tonight. 7:00 Mountain West Network, KTVB Plus, all the different KTVB online digital platforms. Nick Duncan, Jay Tust. I guess I can say game of the year to this point, right? Biggest game for Boise State at this point. Colorado State. Just don't be too they're watching you in Denver, Jay. You got to keep this as neutral as you can tonight. Come on.
I'll be neutral. I'm ready to go. I straight up I'm excited to see Isaiah Stevens at Colorado State. Like I'm eager to watch him. Like, he's a guy that years from now you'll talk about the time you got to see Isaiah play at ExtraMile Arena, in my opinion.
No doubt. Should be another classic game tonight. The head coach of Colorado State, Niko Medved, kind enough to join us on Bronco Nation News. We're going to hear an interview with Niko Medved coming up in 90 seconds. Got to take another quick commercial break. Lots of positive stuff about the Mountain West and Boise State and Leon Rice from Niko Medved. We're rolling along on game day. We'll keep this thing going. Niko Medved joining us next here on Bronco Nation News. Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON Management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON Management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at tacobellworks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com. All right, we're back. Bronco Nation News live here on a game day for Boise State, getting set to face Niko Medved and Colorado State. And, Coach, really appreciate your time giving us a few minutes. We talked to you media days and had a chance after last year's game in Boise to chat, and you're always willing to give us time, even for the opposing media here in Boise. So we appreciate it. How's it going?
It's going good. Great to be on. Appreciate it. Anytime we get a chance to talk some Mountain West hoops, I'm game.
3 teams now in the top 20 of the Associated Press poll that came out. I know you coaches don't care a whole lot about rankings and all that, but you guys stay in at number 17. Now we got San Diego State, Utah State in there. I mean, the metrics, continue to look impressive. And I know we previewed it back in October and thought this was going to be the case, but man, this conference is turning out to be something special.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I know, we always like to say, well, the league's as good as I ever remember it, but boy, it is as good as I ever remember it, being in the league as an assistant and head coach. I think back to those days when, it was Kawhi Leonard and, Jimmer Fredette was in the league at Utah, those years where, at BYU, where we were getting, 4 or 5 teams in the tournament every year. And it looks like we are well back in that realm again. And what a great league. So many terrific coaches and players and venues, and it's great to see people getting recognition, and it's going to continue to be a great year in the league. Sunday, BJ.
What I know that you guys were picked 5th in the preseason. You're obviously right there at the top right now, and even a Utah State that you just played has done it better than a lot of people I think thought. What do you make of? I mean, New Mexico and San Diego State people thought were going to be good. Boise State, I know the record maybe is not where some want, but to have 6 teams at this point fighting for at-large berths. I mean, I know you guys thought it would be good, but how do you explain just the way that was smart scheduling in the non-con, just teams being better? How do you explain the league being this strong at this point?
I mean, it's a culmination of all those things. I think, over time, you've seen programs just continue to get better and better. And, schools that invest in basketball, the coaching, the players, the venues, all those things. I think the league has done a really good job of scheduling in the non-con, like you said, and then, been fortunate to have success and win games. And that's what makes metrics improve. And then as we get into league play, obviously we've got the strength of our league is terrific. And so that allows you to continue to have, great opportunities in the league to improve your resume and that then we are where we are. And so I think it's a culmination of all those things, like you said, and hopefully that's something we can continue going. I mean, I remember in the conference meetings this year, we talked about, and I did. How I remember that when I was an assistant in the Mountain West, and we had those 2 back-to-back years, 4 teams, 5 teams. And then really the league kind of took a little bit of a dip for a while. And now we're coming off, back-to-back years with 4 teams in the tournament. And now to have an opportunity again to get multiple teams in, hopefully we've turned that corner and we can continue to be that type of league. And I don't care what anyone says, this is a high major basketball league. That's what it is. And that's the trend that we've got to continue on.
And not only 4 in back-to-back years, but 6 different teams from the league have made the NCAA tournament in the past 2 years. And you guys go, I know it was a tough one on the road in Logan the other night, and I half wasn't sure if you'd still want to come on after the game the other night, but we appreciate it. And just that game, going into that environment and that atmosphere, early in conference play. I mean, you guys have had the gauntlet here with New Mexico at home and then Utah State and now Boise State. I mean, probably the first 3 hardest games in conference for anybody so far. But what were your takeaways after watching the film of the game the other night in Logan?
Well, Utah State's a terrific team. I mean, Danny's done a great job. They've got some guys that have been with him at Montana State that really know how to play, know the culture that he wants in his program. And you've been there before. The spectrum, like a lot of venues in our league, when it's sold out and rocking, is really, really difficult to play in. And so it was everything you would have expected in that kind of a game. We had our opportunities, and they made some more plays than we did down the stretch. But the way I look at it, when you're in these leagues and you put everything you have into every game and you put everything you have into that game, and if it goes your way or if it doesn't go your way, you've got to quickly learn and move past it and get ready for the next one. So, any time that we spend still dwelling on what happened in Logan, we're not going to be ready for, which is going to be equally as difficult of a test here against Boise. So you've quickly got to get over winning and losing and move on to the next game, because every one of these is going to be a bear.
There's obviously been a lot of talk of Isaiah Stevens. I know we talked about him back at media days, but did within the last couple of weeks break the scoring record. Already has the assist record, and I mean, just the efficiency, over 46% from 3-point range, 53% from the field, 80+% from the foul line, well over 17 points a game. And then, 7.4 assists per game as well. I mean, I know you're not surprised. This is kind of what everybody expected from him this year, but to do it again with the microscope and everything of coming back and to be leading your team, how impressive has Isaiah Stevens been this year?
I mean, it just, like you said, it's been incredibly impressive, and, you're just living with it every day, and you don't always take a step back sometimes to appreciate it, but he just continues to improve and get better. He's a tremendous leader in person. He's got such great command of what we want to do and how we want to play. And, that permeates down through the rest of our team, and just played it at an incredibly high level, night in and night out. And, it's been a blessing to coach him. It's just hard to imagine him not being here, but it's been great for him, to bet on coming back for a 5th year after last year, didn't go the way that we wanted it to. And it's great to see him and the team, at least so far, having success. And when a guy buys into your program the way that he has, you really want success for him. And so he deserves everything that he's gotten. BJ, you're muted.
Wow, that's funny. Usually I'm having to tell the other people that. So I appreciate it.
I do. Us head coaches, we do it all, man.
Wow, I do it. That might be a first for an opposing Mountain West coach to call me out for being on mute. The fans usually want me on mute when I'm commenting and things. But it's no secret though, and I want to talk about some of the other guys in a second. But Isaiah Stevens is clearly at the top of every team's scouting report, and you're seeing teams try different things to take him away. And as I said, it's just not working. Like, how have you noticed like teams just trying whatever they can to slow him down, and it's just whatever, it doesn't matter. He's still getting his 17 and 7 plus every night.
Well, I think what makes him unique is, yes, he can score, but when you bring help to him, he's still at heart a playmaker. He's a point guard, and when you bring help to him, he's going to find the open guy. And I think we've got a trust level and connectedness on our team that we turn down a good shot for a great shot, at least when we're playing at our best. And so he's such a willing passer and playmaker. And So when you bring help to him or do, whether it's a ball screen coverage or whatever it is, he does such a great job of reading the help and making plays. And so I think like most coaches, like whenever you're playing a great player, I mean, we're going to play. Boise State's got a long list of great players who can really hurt you. And it's not about saying you're going to go in and stop them. It's how do we make them work? How do we try to slow them down? How do we try to make life as difficult as possible? And then when they make a great play, how do you get over it emotionally and just move on to the next one? Because that's what life is like. You're playing against great players, every night, and they make great plays, and you just got to continue to make them work. But there's no secret formula to just shutting these guys down.
I know with the 7.4 assists a game, that means some other guys are making some shots too. I know he's not the only reason you guys are having a lot of success, ranked in the top 20 right now. 3 other guys averaging over 11.7 points per game. For fans in Boise getting ready to check this game out, I mean, just what have the other contributors done? I know he gets a lot of the headlines, but it's certainly not a one-man show.
No, we've got a real balanced attack. And, when we've been at our best, we've had multiple guys, scoring. And, Patrick Cartier is a guy who's really offensively playing at a high level. He's shooting the 3, scoring in the lane, and, does some things within our offense to really create space. Niko Medved has been absolutely tremendous. He's playing efficiently on both ends of the floor. He's shooting it well. He's attacking the basket. He's playing good defense. Joel Scott's, another transfer for us that's really, really been productive on both ends of the floor. And I could go on and on. We've got a lot of guys, I think, who are really playing their roles well, who are making timely shots, who are making plays for each other. And I think that's what any good team has is you're connected and guys are really buying into their roles. And so Isaiah, deservedly so, gets, the attention. It starts with him, but there's a lot of guys, I think, who are playing well for us.
The fans in Boise have finally bought into this team, Coach. The attendance is way up. It's going to be a near sellout, if not a sellout, on Tuesday. You obviously just experienced a crazy atmosphere a couple of nights ago. I assume that'll help. But currently, the nation's longest home court winning streak is ExtraMile Arena in Boise, 21 straight games. Just your thoughts on the challenge of another road environment, another packed house, which I'm sure you're going to see plenty this year with how you guys are playing. But as you said, it won't be any easier against Boise State here in Boise.
Oh gosh, no. Terrific program. I mean, starts with Leon and his staff. They've been doing it for a long time. They've got, great players. Tyson Dagenhart's one of the best players in our league. He just, every time you pop on the film and watch him play, he's so under control, hurts you in so many different ways. Agbo can make shots from everywhere. Seems like he can throw them in from the upper deck, even when you're there. And Omar Stanley, I mean, you're coming off a 30-point game. I mean, Max, I go on and on. I mean, these guys are so well coached. They're connected. They know what they're in, and they're used to winning. And so, I'm expecting that. I think I saw that our night school started back here in Boise, so I'd expect nothing less. And to me, it's what makes college basketball great. And it's part of, we go back to talking about why our league's doing so well. It's because you've got fan bases and places that care so much about college basketball. And, we'll play sold out. It'll be close to sold out there. It's going to be that way in the pit. It's going to be that way in Viejas. And you know what, BJ, when you guys come back to Fort Collins, it'll be sold out at our place too, more than likely. And so that's what you got to love as a competitor, and it's what you work towards. And so it's going to be a tremendous challenge for our team, but we're looking forward to it. If you want to compete in the league, you got to find a way to go give yourself a chance in these kind of environments.
How'd you guys handle the environment on Saturday? And do you think having that out of the way, that first kind of rough crowd, full loud experience in conference play, will help you guys?
I think we did. I mean, we had the lead a good portion of the game, and Utah State did a great job of really, hanging in there. Then they really made a run late, and the crowd is loud. They get into it. I think a lot of times in those environments too, it's just the home team plays with more juice and energy, and they feed off their crowd. But I think the trick is you have to try to feed off that too. And so we know it's difficult. We know Boise's going to play at a high level, but hopefully, I think when the game starts, you really just try to tune that out and just live in the moment of the game. And so, we've got a battle-tested group, much like Boise. We've played a difficult schedule. We've been on the road. We've been in neutral environments, and we know it's going to be hard. And But the biggest issue, the crowd's an issue, but it's not the crowd that's the biggest problem. It's the players on the other side that Boise has that we're playing against. That's the biggest concern.
What do you make, Coach? Because, they're number 70 in the net. They're the low 60s in compound. They really challenged themselves in the non-conference and played a really tough schedule, and maybe didn't win a couple of the games they were hoping to. Maybe weren't rewarded as much as they hoped in some of the metrics by playing a tough schedule. A lot of people thought this was an NCAA tournament team. They've obviously got some work to do here in conference. The fans in Boise obviously are kind of waiting to see here what's going to happen in conference play. But what do you make of what the numbers say about Boise State versus the quality on the court?
Well, I haven't paid much attention to the numbers. Again, they did, and rightfully so. They challenged themselves, and they're probably, like all of us, a couple games we were fortunate enough to win. For them, it didn't go their way, but there's a lot of basketball left to be played. Just because someone is sitting, I don't pay it. You look at them, but listen, we're only halfway through the season, right? So that only tells half the story. Now you got to go and continue to do it. Just because we're in the position we're in now doesn't guarantee anything in 6 weeks.
Sure.
And the same for them, just because, so I just look at the film and I watch this team play, and I know what they do, how they're coached, the players that they have that have done it before. You're talking about guys that have done it before. So again, there's no question, Boise is going to be right there fighting for it, by the end of the year. I have no doubt. And hopefully we are too. And, this is just another battle. And the way I look at it is big game, both teams, but whoever wins it and whoever loses it, you got a lot more of them coming. I got another one the next Friday and Saturday. And so you've just got to find a way to keep going. And so Boise will be right there at the end. They're a terrific team and terrific players. And so I have no doubt they're going to be a factor.
Yeah, it's crazy. You look at the schedule, and there's not very many off nights in this league, Coach. Boise State goes to Reno on Friday. You've had this gauntlet. Then next week, Boise State's got San Diego State coming to town. It is crazy. Every game, you got to bring it. I guess final thing, Coach, I know you're in your little bubble there in the hotel, and you obviously live in one of the best cities in the Mountain West in Fort Collins, beautiful cities. But do you get a chance to walk on the green belt, or is there anything you get to do about Boise? Is the town treating you okay while you're here?
Yeah, I like Boise a lot. I agree with you. I think us and them, I'm a little biased. We live in two of the best places in the country to live, and two of the best. So it's awesome. I love where I live. The Boise's a really good town. And, we'll see. A lot of times I like to go for a run in opposing teams, opposing cities.
Okay.
I grew up in Minnesota, but it's a little chilly out there, BJ. I don't know, man. We're staying at the Grove here.
Okay.
Great hotel, and they got a nice little workout facility here. But I'll make my way out for at least a walk and around the town. I like to get outside, and so it's a great community. There's a lot of great places in the Mountain West, but this is a good one.
Well, you're not too far from the green belt there. It's a path right along the Boise River, right through the downtown area there, and right along the stadium. So you can that's the spot. If you got an extra sweatshirt or something, you'll be good. But Coach, we really appreciate your time. Looking forward to hopefully catching up with you after the game as well. And enjoy the rest of your time in town. Good luck not only against Boise State, but the rest of the season. And truly appreciate you. You got a lot of work to do, giving us 15 minutes of your time. And we'll see you at ExtraMile Arena.
I appreciate you anytime, BJ.
There he is, Niko Medved. We appreciate him for coming on. Again, want to shout out Bronco Brew Coffee. Make sure you check them out. Helping Boise State University athletics with every sip. Bronco Brew Coffee is a great way to help support the NIL game at Boise State and have some great coffee at the exact same time. So roasted to order, fresh made coffee, broncobrew.coffee. Go check it out, and you're helping Boise State. You can pick an athlete on there, and a couple bucks of your purchase goes straight to your athlete of choice that you want to help out. And it's a new innovative thing. And again, they're ponying up, and costs a lot of money to have that Boise State logo on your product there. So support them, return the favor, broncobrew.coffee. And I am back in town and trying to shed off the holiday 15, as they say, and lose some weight. And I'm back on the lean feast train. I went in there yesterday, got some meals, had it for lunch and dinner last night. I highly recommend Lean Feast, folks. They got Tyson Degenhart and Ashton Genty on some NIL deals. You will not be disappointed. It's perfect if you're someone that's on the go for lunch and need something quick in the microwave at work or wherever. You go in there, you can order ahead of time online. And the website there at the bottom is actually wrong now. It's updated to leanfeastmeridian.com, leanfeastmeridian.com. And you go check it out. You can order it all online within 2 hours. Go pick it up, or you just go into their store there and see everything they have to offer and make your meals. And they'll put them right there, and like that photo on the top left there, where they just make the meals right there for you. And then all it takes is like 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the microwave, and you're ready to go. And you're eating surf and turf and fresh steak and chicken and shrimp. So thanks to Dave and the crew over at Lean Feast. Highly recommend Lean Feast if you're looking for some healthy eating, and I think it'd be a great spot to get back on track here in the new year. So thanks again to Niko Medved for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed that interview. Easy guy to root for and to like. And actually a lot of the coaches in the Mountain West are. I think Brian Dutcher at San Diego State is a really nice guy. I think a lot of the coaches in the Mountain West are have always been nice with their time, and hoping to get Steve Alford. Sent the email request. We'll see, but I'd like to try to do this in advance of these games as much as possible. So I did reach out and ask about getting Steve Alford on the show either Thursday or Friday, and we'll see if we can do that ahead of the game on Friday night in Reno. So appreciate you guys for checking us out today. Again, don't forget about our contest. We had a couple people sign up yesterday. Grand prize, all yearly subscribers. You got to be a yearly subscriber to BNN. And if you're a yearly annual subscriber, which by the way is just $50 right now, using the promo code BNN50 deal, you'll be eligible to win a private jet trip for two to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. You get a hotel night and a lot of stuff included. So check it out at BroncoNationNews.com. And every Friday leading up to the grand prize drawing in early February, every Friday we'll be giving away some items. And this Friday is the chair, Cutwater Spirits chair, a really nice wooden chair. And that's going to come with some lime margaritas from Cutwater, some peppermint white Russian, some espresso martinis. And we're giving away some Cutwaters, giving away some gift cards, and we're giving away this chair on Friday for all yearly subscribers. So make sure you check us out Friday morning. We'll be live from Reno getting set for the basketball game. BNN 50 deal, again, is that promo code to get a full year for just $50. And as I said, the grand prize went down to Las Vegas last year, had a great time, and now we're heading to San Diego this year and looking forward to that. So going to be a lot of fun tonight. We'll have the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show 6 o'clock. We'll be live around 6 o'clock. We'll show you a live look at warm-ups, the players warming up. Abe Jackson will join me. Might get a John Mallory appearance as well. May play a portion of this Niko Medved interview again as well. I thought it was good stuff of him talking about Boise State, but really excited. Huge game tonight for Boise State. Obviously, if there's any more football news, we'll be following that as well. I do think the Dorian Singer Big Judd's thing is not accurate from what I can tell. But we'll have to see if we can find that out or not. Jesse, I know you weren't trying to pull a fast one there, but I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. So we'll be tracking all the football news. And again, at halftime of the game tonight, Spencer Danielson will talk to the media, and we'll get that up to our YouTube channel, and then we'll play it on tomorrow's show as well. So check for that. And that means that Spencer and some of the football players probably going to be at the game tonight. So going to be a packed house. Should be a lot of fun. If you see the Rains boys or my wife, Karen, make sure you say hello to them. And I know it's going to be a fun time tonight for everybody going to ExtraMile Arena. Nice 7 o'clock tip. I mean, they got a home game later this year that starts at 9 p.m. We'll worry about that later. 7 o'clock prime time tonight. You'll be home at 9:30. It should be an awesome night tonight. And again, Jay Tust will have the Mountain West Network call with Nick Duncan, Abe Jackson, Bob Beeler on the 670 KBOI call as well. So should be a lot of fun. And again, we'll be live with the pregame show about 6 o'clock. And then on the postgame show, we'll have highlights. We'll have interviews with Leon Rice, some players, Niko Medved. I'm going to try to start getting the opposing Mountain West coaches as much as I can, too, on the postgame show. So full coverage, pregame, postgame, Bronco Nation News, our YouTube, our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram accounts streaming live. So make sure you're subscribing and following all them. And if you're able to help us out with that $50 subscription, it's just one-time fee for the entire year, $50, BNN 50 deals, the promo code at BroncoNationNews.com. And you get a daily email, some other exclusive access, and then you get weekly drawings and prizes and things. Like I said, that private jet trip to San Diego, got to be a subscriber for that. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Drive safe in the weather. And we'll see you tonight, ExtraMile Arena. There's a few tickets left, so if you're on the fence and you want to go, $20 tickets. Go scoop them up. Should be a electric atmosphere tonight. Going to be a lot of fun. And again, this would be the third best win in the history of Boise State basketball if they're able to get it tonight. The number 17 ranked team in the country here tonight. They're 13-2. They've got some really impressive wins. They already beat Creighton, who was ranked number 8th, I think, at the time. They're rolling along right now, and they're playing really, really well. I know they lost in Logan the other night, but again, Utah State was favored. And guess what? Utah State's ranked number 20 in the poll this week too, I think. So no shame in losing that game. 3 teams in the top 20 in the poll right now. Boise State will see another one of them in San Diego State next week. But big game tonight. Should be one of those classic electric fun atmospheres at ExtraMile Arena. Go get your tickets if you don't have them. If you do, we'll see you there at ExtraMile Arena. And if you're not heading to the game, don't live in the area, we will see you on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Live interviews, live look at warm-ups. We'll get you set. So go subscribe if you can. BroncoNationNews.com. Use that promo code BNN50 deal. Make sure you're subscribing to all of our social media channels. Appreciate you guys. Going to be a fun day, one of those long days to get us to tonight. So I hope work and everything goes okay. And we'll see you tonight, 6 o'clock on the pregame show from ExtraMile Arena. Again, thanks everybody for checking us out. Thanks to Jay Tust. Thanks to my wife, Karen. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you here in a couple hours. Bronco Nation News Live. Bronco Nation News.